In 2000, 31st October, the UN had a resolution called the UN Council Security Resolution 1325. And as Uganda, we adopted that, which led to the formation of the National Action Plan 3 on Women, Peace and Security. As a country, we have had 3 NAPs. We had the first one in 2008, the second one in 2011, and this 2020-21 with the 3rd National Action Plan. As women, we gather in response to what the president said or talked about to think and have our grassroots conversation. Since we are not a homogeneous group, we are joined by somebody representing the persons with disability to talk about what does peace mean to you, what does security mean to you, and how best can we enhance better civilian-military relationship. I'm joined by Doreen Among from the Yali Chapter Uganda, which is a Department of State Exchange Alumni group, and Nemuchala Namubiri Jalia okuva Munansa na Daily Market, and Sylvia Karungi representing women with disabilities, and she is an alumni also, but also from Masulita. Welcome to the show, women.
Thank you.
How is that day?
Good. A lot of sunshine.
A lot of sunshine. I will start with you, Sylvia. What does peace mean to you?
Thank you, Rebecca. To me, first of all, like they said, my name is Sylvia Karungi, and representing a number of disabilities. Like we know, we have a number of disabilities, some of which are even not recognized. I am a person, or I am a woman living with visual impairment. That is, I am blind. I cannot see anything. I cannot see light. I cannot see anyone who can see me. But I'm happy that way. And we have a number of disabilities, inclusive of albinism, physically disabled, people living with autism, little persons, and many other disabilities. So when we are talking about peace to us as women with disabilities, we would really need a free violence community, a community where there is peace, a community where there is no fighting, a community where my views, when aired, are being heard or taken as if they have sense. So as a woman with disability, I really get peace when I have gone to school. We have a number of children who have not been to school, and that means their peace somehow has been violated. Some schools are very far, and these kids cannot manage going to school because of their disability. As a woman with disability, we really need to be respected by men. Some men take us for granted. So that really violates. We don't have peace even in families and even in homes. As women with disabilities, our land is being grabbed just like that. We can never have peace. When something is taken, and I know it has been taken because I am like this, because I am disabled, and I am disabled, and secondly, I am a woman. So I usually tell people that we as women with disabilities, we have a number of discriminations. 1, I am disabled. 2, I am a woman. And from a grassroots setting, moreover, you do not have where your voice can be quickly heard. So sometimes we pass through a lot when we talk about peace. So for example, I would also talk about people in the community. How do they give us peace? How do they look at us? Some people look at people like, for example, people living with albinism. Some people take them to say that they are people who, when they are sacrificed, they have to get money out of them. You can imagine. Very many men know that young women with disabilities are virgins, and they come to use them just to get money. It is really alarming, but Rebecca, like I said, we really, when we talk about peace, there is nobody in the country who needs peace as a woman with disability.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Njakujja gy'oli. What emirembe, bwe twogera emirembe, ewuwo kitegeeza ki ng'omukyala ow'akatale obeera otegeera ki oba
kubeera mirembe? Emirembe ngazi omukyala ow'akatale kitegeeza omuntu yenna yeetaaga okubeera n'emirembe mu ntambula gye tutambula. Tugeze oyinza okuba ogenza okusuubula, tugeze mubeeramu n'obumenyi bw'amateeka, ababbi babeera bangi, oleese emmaali yo oba ogenda kusuubula nga bwe tukeera ffe abakyala ab'akatale tukeera nnyo era okeera mu kutya kubanga muba temuli security. Ogenda mu kutya ababbi, abavubuka bakuba obuyondo, olina akasente kati niko ogenda osuubuza ate babeera bakaagala. Kwegamba twetaaga okubeera n'emirembe. Obanga abasirikale bali awo, oba oyise ku musirikale obanga omutima gubeera wamu, oba tugenda kufuna kuteetaaganyizibwa ng'ogenza okuleeta emmaali yo.
Doreen, what does peace mean to you?
To me, as a woman and a mother of the nation, Nakazadde w'eggwanga. First of all, peace to me is I have to look at the safety of my family and my children. So, to me, peace is how safe are we in the community? How safe are our children in the community? If I sent my child to school, how secure do I feel that the dormitories won't catch fire? Or that my child will not be abused in school? We've had so many things happening in schools to children. A child falls sick and you can't, the school refuses to send them back home, yet they don't have good facilities, and maybe a child's life can be lost. So to me, that is very important. And I should be able to access services as a woman. For example, jobs. It's no longer the norm where only the man has to provide. Women also have to provide. So how do I juggle both, providing and also looking after my family and seeing that everything is being balanced? So we've had an imbalance. Women can be blamed that they are leaving the whole providing thing to the men, but how many opportunities are there for the women? Yes. So to me, that is what I see peace, how I see peace.
Okay.
Can I add something little bit?
Oh, please. Yes, you can.
When we even, I just got something from Doreen when she talked about the jobs, the available opportunities. Then when it comes to women with disabilities, it really becomes worse. That at times you have all the qualifications. You may be even having a first-class degree, because these days they say my first-class caller. But even you have all the sense of speech and showing that you can really work, but there is no opportunity for you because you're disabled. Then there is something I also thought about as a woman with disability: accessing health services. Accessing health services, I think, would be a part of what peace means to me. Sometimes we are so much discriminated in the hospital that nogenda mudwaliro ngolaba there is no peace for me, at least if I remain home and give birth. Because even a nurse or a doctor reaches an extent of asking you, how did you get pregnant? How did you climb the bed? You know those questions. And then you're a woman living with disability. Now she puts something on top of you that already I'm disabled and this woman is despising me. Really? Then when you go to something like schools, like for example, my daughter, the first school I took her to, nga bamanyi omugamba kale mama wa atunula bubi, mama wa atunula bwati. So she would come home and then she would say, mami lwaki otunula bwoti, mami otunula bwoti, abaana bakuvumye bagambye otunula bwoti. So bambi emirembe ne gitugwako even at home, because we are people. So there is a way they should have to educate or to bring out something, especially in government schools, so that at least even us women with disabilities, we have some peace.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'll start from there, Sylvia, and ask you, what does security mean to you as a woman living with disability?
When we come to security, first of all, what I need in my life is safety. Safety, safety. Even in the village where I live, it is a local area. I was telling a friend today that I think I need a chikomera. There is a son I live with, she's now 1 year. When I call him and she keeps quiet, and then I think, over somebody has taken him. Over somebody has come and taken. So there is no safety, yet there is a lot of poverty that you cannot even access or have something like enclose at least your house so that you're in a safe place. Enclose your house so that your children are safe, your things are safe. Because for us in the village, even where we are, somebody may come on the katandalo and then she picks a cup and goes. Remember, you're somebody living with blindness. You will not see that somebody, then somebody will come and say, hey, Karen, I have stood there for like 30 minutes. You have even not been seeing me. And then you're like, what? Somebody can even enter the house without your action. And she takes almost everything. So let's even talk about, I remember when I was in Makerere, they used to, I used to sleep in a hall that is close to the stubborn boys. So they used to bring a lot of tear gas to our hall. Now when you're blind, there is the way they can throw that thing of tear gas. Katibambi, instead of you running to where the tear gas is not thrown, you run to where they are. You run to where they are throwing the tear gas and then it will fall in your face because you don't see. Being blind is not something, being blind, being disabled, being any other thing is not something to joke with when it comes to security. When it comes to security, the gun will shoot, other people will run. Trust me, Ojaku Duka, you will run and knock a stone and you will stop there and say, now God, just see me through. Because that's why I think we need really, like I said in the first place, we need a free, violent community where at least there are no riots. If there are riots, at least let people with disabilities have somewhere they are put or let them be secure. Let's even talk about security when we go at the police. At the police, our issues are not attended to sometimes and to some people. For example, if a young girl with a hearing impairment will go to the police, these officers do not know sign language. And they will have, I have had those cases, one will have a question, so how can we help you? And then the girl is not talking. This girl has been raped. This girl has been tortured. But there is no way she can speak to the officer. Then you're blind. You go to the police and tell them, you know, I have maybe been raped. Or maybe we agreed, me and my boy, and then I am pregnant, but this boy doesn't want to look after the baby. And then they say, Katigo amuwuliro otya. Omumanyi, how do you know that this is the person? Even somebody may a solo kwegana in front of people, yet you really know the person, but of course you're blind. Even it is easy for the police officer to accept that this is not the real person, yet you know the real person. Some of people with disabilities have been threatened to be killed, by those men who tend to have just simple sex with them for their luxury or for their leisure. And these people are threatened. We don't have to go to police. Then, for example, Becky, we had a problem in my local area. I come from, I hear now it is in Mbarara City, where our land, for example, was grabbed. And they put water. Is it water? Yes, they put a pump, water. They are going to pump water from here. They did not ask anybody, but do you know why? Because this is a land for women. Moreover, women with disabilities. They don't have to ask them. They have to go and put what they want in your own land. So our land was just grabbed like that. But why? When we talked, they brought a lot of army, a lot of people were standing there. You don't have to talk, you don't have to say anything. Imagine, as people with disabilities, sometimes even we are discriminated by our parents. Our parents sometimes give us small land. Nga we, mubano yina mwakabanja katono. Now it has been taken to people who claim to be part of the government. It is taken because this is the government program, this is what, and your things have been taken. So we are sometimes insecure, and I think there is a way of how security should be improved when it comes to people with disabilities. Let our things be protected. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. And I will still ask you this question.
Yes.
How best can government build better civil and military relationships in regards to persons with disability?
Thank you so much, Becky. First of all, I think there should be a relationship between the military organizations with the working disabled organization groups. When it comes to that, at least when you have problems, you go to your DPO, when you talk, and there is that relationship, at least something may be solved. Two, we should also have disability desks. And not disability desks where they just bring somebody from who is even very green about disability issues. And then they make that person sit on the desk, and then they will say, we have a desk for the disabled. No, we should have a desk at least where somebody who will understand my problem. Like, for example, if it was me, I sit on the desk. I know when somebody blind comes in, when somebody with albinism comes in, when somebody with hearing impairment comes in, I'll be able to understand their problem because I have the same feeling they are passing through like I do. So we should have disability desks. Let it be in maybe Ministry of Gender, CMI, talk about UPDF. They should, at least even Becky, they should even give us jobs. You know, even when you're not sitting on a disability desk, but you have a job in such a thing. You have, like, for example, a job in CMI. You maybe have a job in UPDF. At least there is a way you will attend. When they have questions, they will come and ask, oh, Sylvia, how can we do this? Sylvia, how can we, there is a disabled person outside there. How can we do this? How can we help her? But you find that even sometimes, even the office of the president, they even don't have a disabled person in there. Sometimes who are there, anyway. What the government, I think the government should try to improve security and also listen to us. At least listen to our views. When I speak, don't look at my disability first. Look at what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying first. Consider it, and then you will look at my disability second. When we also talk about, like, for example, when I was talking about in the previous question, you asked about land grabbing. When really, I am a person with disability, I don't know how many police stations we went to until they asked for the money that we didn't have, until they asked for the things that we didn't have. And then we said, okay, let's go back and sit, because maybe this is what they have decided to do. It is really appealing, Becky. The government should stand out, should stand up to do something for a woman with disability. We have a number of issues, we have a number of problems that result from our disability. So we don't need sometimes people from security, from the government, or even the local people, the civilians, to add something on our disability, to make us more disabled. There's something that makes you more disabled. So sometimes people make us more disabled. So I beg that the government extends us. It comes closer to us. Let them talk to us. Let them listen to our issues. Let them not look at our disability. Let them look at what we say. Thank you, Becky. I'll be adding.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Yes.
Mchala Jalia. Ngo mchala wa katali. Security ogitegeera otya?
Security.
oba muyinayo security eyo gye muli?
Kati nganze omukyala wa katale security yitegeera kuba yeetaagisa kati nganze akeera ku makya okugenda okusuubula. Security bw'ebeerawo mbeera mugumu mu kugenda kuba nfuluma mu nnyumba n'endekamu abaana bange nga bato ngende nnoonye ssente ne mbaleka mu nnyumba. Kitegeeza bwe nvaamu mba ndowooza obubbi bubeera bungi, manya bayinza okugenda ne bamenya oluusi oba ne batemula abaana bange sitegedde, nange ne ŋŋenda mba ntambulira mu kufa, basobola okuntemula. Naye security bw'ebeerawo ebeera eyamba n'obeera ng'oli safe mu buli kimu ky'oba okola kubanga obumenyi bw'amateeka bwo bungi. N'abaana okugenda ku ssomero, kati abaana bakeera ng'era omuntu omukozi, okeera n'omwana oba omuto bebi ye n'asigalayo mu nnyumba, ogenze n'omwana oba omwana agenze yekka, basobola okumutemula oba okumuwamba ne bamutwala ne bamutta, olowooza atuuse ku ssomero naye ng'awambiddwa. Naye security weebeerawo ebeera eyamba eri buli omu. Omwana agenze ku ssomero nange agenze okusuubula okunona ssente abaana basome, kubanga kati abakyala twasigala nga ffe abeeyamba eri abaana baffe. Basajja tebakyalina buvunaanyizibwa kuweerera abaana, kola buli kimu ekikyetaagisa, buli kimu kiyimiridde nga ggwe omukazi. Funa ekyokulya, mwana asomye atya, kwambala, kola bitya, kwegamba. Naye wobeera ng'ate okedde weeraliikirira ngenda kkeera, bagenda kugenda mu nnyumba bamenye batwale obuntu bwe nninamu ate nga nze era alina obbunoonya. Ngenze obusente bwe nnina bagenda kubunzibako kubanga neeze mu takisi ze tulinnya nazo zibeeramu ababbi. Olinnya olowooza olinnye takisi nga ntuufu ate bagenda kutwala bakuwamba, oluusi bakutemudde n'obusente balowooza olina ssente ate ng'olina ntono ne bazitwala. Naye security weebeerawo obeera bulungi. Bwentyo nze ng'omukyala wa katale n'okubeera nga security weebeerawo baba tebabba na bintu byaffe eri nga tusuubudde okubireeta tubirekayo kuba tubiira tubireseeyo ku mudaala tetugenda kugenda nabyo waka. Naye w'obirekayo waba nga tewali security, oli ayingira n'atoola by'ayagala n'atwala. Kapita omutini kutaddeko lenti, otaddeko olina okusasula empooza, naye ate kati bwe babitwala togenda kufunamu. Omwana alina okusoma, mulina okulya ate ne ssente ntono. Ssente temuli naye kati awo okola buli kimu ng'otambulira ku bunkenke. Kiba kyetaagisa ddala security n'ebeera nga weeri okuyambibwa.
Enansana muyina security oba mugezaako?
Nansana teri security kubanga obumenyi bw'amateeka bungi. Singa ebaddewo kati awo nga ku kibbuloko oyinza n'okubeera ku ppiki ne bakunyakulako akasawo, poliisi ogiyiseko olusinga era oli ddala ku poliisi naye oli atutte akasawo n'akatwala ng'oli ku ppiki n'akanyakula n'akatwala. Tewali security emala, weetaagisaawo security.
Gavumenti yandikoze eki okumakinga sure nti muyina security n'ekirala nti enkolagana ey'abantu n'aba security ebeerawo nga nnungi?
Gavumenti kyandiyambye kubeera nga tulina security, kubeera nti n'abantu kalata abantu abamu tubeera tukyate okusembera osi poliisi, abapoliisi kubanga oyinza okugenda oba oloopa omusango ogwo nti munnange bankoze kino ate babeera basaba ssente kati nga poliisi ebeera awo obeera otya okugendayo. Naye ngamba bantaddewo koba abasirikale kuganye babeerawo ng'omanyi ti eno wano watuukibwako tewabeera kutya. Omusirikale omuntu naawe totya kubanga naye abeera muntu. N'obeera ng'osobola okwogera naye nga ggwe omuntu. Omusirikale oyo nga tomutya n'obeera nga kubanga omanyi ogenze bajja kubuuza kino ate olina okuwaayo ssente okusobola okusitula omusirikale oba atuuka z'otayina. Nakyo kikaluubiriza. Kati ate waliwo n'ekirala ekiri mu katale awo Nansana Daily Market kye tusaba oba Mr. President oba Mama Nabbanja wabanga awulidde okutuyamba nti waliwo bannanyi kati nze ni mupangisa naye waliwo bannannyini midaala bombu kubanga tebakola mu katale bo baazima emidaala gyabwe bateekako ffe abapangisa. Naye kati bajja okuwandiika kati ffe abapangisa ate ffe abagenda ofuuka bannannyini midaala kubanga bali tebakoleramu. Kati ate ekyo ndaba nga kinyigiriza. Ffe abapangisa tuyinza okusanyuka naye oli yakola omudaala gwe ng'ayagalamu akasente kubanga bakadde takyasobola kukeeragana mbw agenda asuubule, takyasobola kutuulawo amagulu mugongo balumizibwa. Kati aba ataddewo omudaala gwe yabeere waka nga gwe omuwa ssente kubanga yagula omudaala gwe okufunamu akasente. Naye kati kino ekyazze nti kati emidaala gigenda kudda mu gavumenti. Kati abannannyini midaala baba nga tebali ku midaala bano abapangisa ffe abagenda otwala egyo emidaala era ne bawandiika amannya gaffe ffe abafuuse bannannyini midaala oli takyalina buvunaanyizibwa ku ogwo. Nze ndaba ekyo tekyampadde essanyu yadde nti nze nimupangisa kyandibala abalala basanyuse naye ate ndaba kinyigiriza era n'obutemu bujja kubaawo. Toyinza kubeera eri nga gwe nannyini mudaala ate omupangisa atwala atya omudaala gwo nga ye alina kuwa buwi ssente. Nsaba n'ekyo gavumenti ekitunulemu kubanga bagambye akatale kagenda kukwasibwa gavumenti. Ensonga lwaki bakoze ekintu ekyo bwe kityo naye nga nze ndaba nga si kirungi.
Serena, I'll come to you. One, with what does security mean to you? But we've also seen that there have been not very good relationships between the civilians and the men in uniform or the men in security. So what does government have to do to build better civilian and military relationships so that we achieve the peace that we want? First, what does security mean to you? And then the second.
Okay. First, for me, security, like someone coming from Northern Uganda, this is a very sensitive issue. The first time I went to my village was in 2005, and there were camps everywhere. And while we moved about, every stone you step, they would, oh, that's a grave, don't step there, you know. So it was, people were living in fear, and people were living they didn't have hope during that time. But right now, I'd like to thank the president because there is peace in Northern Uganda, and that's a fact, there is peace. But then, I mean, there's security. So security and peace move hand in hand. There is still not peace. Why? Because there is extreme poverty in Northern Uganda. And it's quite ironical because there is a lot of land, and that land is redundant. It's not being put to work. So when I go to my village, I interact with a group of people, young people there, and we keep on asking ourselves, what can we do? What can we do for this land to be put to use? Can't we grow food? Yes, people are into agriculture, but on this small scale. So for me, I think that is not peace, because when we speak of, I watched the president speaking to the Western world that we don't want your funds and all. That was good, yes. So I'm thinking, what can we do? Like Northern Uganda, how can we be involved in income generating activities? There is a lot of land. That is again another resource. So I'm thinking if we get the people involved, maybe sensitization, because I've moved in villages, in the whole village. I've gone to farms, and people do not have skills. Yet the backbone of Uganda is agriculture. But how is it that where there is so much land, there is no food coming out of there to contribute to the national, what do I call
Development.
it? Yeah, development. Yeah. So I don't think there is peace. Then 2 years ago, as I was in my village in Atiak, I was at the center, and there was only one dairy shop, and it wasn't owned by someone there. It was owned by a Muhima, so I was so surprised. So I talked to my people and I told them, why can't we produce milk ourselves? And they said, no, we have these local cows and we can't really supply enough milk. So I was wondering what can be done. For example, can the people in Northern Uganda get good breeds of cows? I have seen this being done, and I know the president can implement this so that we can have people spearhead training people on dairy, those dairy farms, and so there is so much that can be done there. Yes, so I don't think there is peace when that is going on, and the women also can be involved. Women are very hardworking. Northern Uganda women spearhead the homes. Yeah, that is, you'd find, no offense, my people, but the fact is, we'll find the women working and the men are in bufundas.
Yes.
And they are drinking. Yes. And the woman has to go so early to the gardens, bring food, look after the children, look after the husband, even take water for him to the bathroom, and he's just chilling. He's just chilling. So that is okay. We have seen women, you've already taken up leadership. So for me, what I'm asking, you've asked how can the government bring security? Let us empower these women. For me, that is what I think. Let us have programs there, not from elsewhere, but let's get the people involved. Let us teach these women better farming. But I'm still sticking on agriculture because there is a lot of land there, and agriculture is the backbone of Uganda. Let us have so many services go there. Let's have good breeds of cattle, of seeds. Let them all flock there, and I'm available. I would be happy to spearhead this project. Yes, because because I've done it, but I can't do it to the whole of the Acholi region. I don't have the funds. Of course, I can't afford it. But if I could, I would. And I think there will be so much coming out of there. And then security also comes right from the homes. The mothers, please. If you have an issue with your husband, why do you have to poison your children? I have had children say, Muzei mufu. I don't have a father, but the father is alive. But that is because of what the mothers you're telling your children, and you're poisoning your children. And these are the citizens of this nation. They grow up with mental health issues, and that is why we have issues coming up of there is allocation of iron sheets to go to Karamoja, but they are ending up in homes, in those people's homes. So seriously, this is coming from home. Mothers, please, charity begins at home. Teach your children. I can teach my child, but then my child will meet your children at uni, and you poison my child. Yes, my child will meet. So yes, as I'm working on mine, please, mothers, we are the Nakazades of this. I like that statement because that's what the president calls us here. This responsibility is upon us. It's your relationship with your husband. Your men have nothing to do with your children. Teach your children right, and your sons. We've had sons who, we've had men who don't want to look after homes.
Yes.
But this goes back to the mothers. How have you brought up your child? Have you taught your child this responsibility? You have to look after your children and look after your wife. So peace starts from us, women. Please let us take this up and let this be something very, very serious. Yes.
And you've talked about the fact that we are having some men that, especially in the northern region, that are drinking and all that. Aren't we taking off the responsibility also on men to be able to be responsible citizens? Because if you are in a bar as early as 8 a.m., how productive have you become? It's not even a weekend. How productive are you? You get it. Aren't you the one that is going to start stealing the woman's money in the village?
Definitely.
Or in the home, then you steal from your mother, you steal from your wife,
and
then you
the
go and steal from your sisters, like that, because you don't have money. And this is an addiction problem that needs to be addressed. So how best can we ensure that these men that get into these bars at 8 a.m. at 7 are disciplined?
Okay. Military and civilian relationships, we can start from there. We can have the military get involved in civilian issues. For example, if there's first these men, we can have services to keep them busy. We can sit down, write projects of how we can involve these men. Because some of these men, anyway, are not drinking because they enjoy it. Sometimes it's coming from depression. Sometimes it's coming from, I'm not able to look after my family, therefore, let me resort to this. So how many services are there for these men? We can have services that are income generating. By they're in the bars drinking, yes, but these men are hardworking.
But they have land, don't they?
And they have land.
And
Yes.
they're not utilizing
So why are they
it.
not utilizing this land? Yes. From experience, these people do not have good farming culture.
Or were they not? Or were they affected by the war so much that it's coming out in terms of?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Depression. But why are the women taking it up? And why and the men? So should we say that they were affected more? Yes. So I think we can have counseling down there. Yes, they are affected. They are really affected. That is a fact.
But maybe
We can
Becky,
have. Let me first finish. We can have services there to get them involved, and then let us have people from the army get involved, monitor what the civilians are doing, have them accountable to the military, to know, because the UPDF in this country has a reputation of being very disciplined. Yes, very organized and very everything. We can learn a thing or two from them. Let them get these skills and take them to the civilians, because UPDF, of course, Uganda People's Defense Forces, they have to be involved with us. Because how will you defend us if you don't know what we go through? How will you defend us if you don't know that this is what we need? I think we should be. I know there are issues that are sensitive in the military, but there are those that are not. So we can be merged together. Let us work hand in hand. The people are scared of the military. So yes, that is a fact. And the fact is the military does deliver. So if we have them down there and we work hand in hand, for me, I think these men can be got out of those bars.
Okay. Sylvia, you were saying something?
No, I actually wanted to say that it is not now men that even only who drink. Even those men who now do not drink, men have really lost responsibility. We don't know why, whether it is something, the world is changing, but the men have really lost responsibility, because if you see, even a man can leave you as a woman with disability and leave you with the kids. He knows maybe sometimes you're not working, maybe sometimes you're just there, but he just comes to get you pregnant, and then he just leaves you there, not even providing food for the children. So what I think, there should be much more opportunities created for women. Let there be opportunities in both government and the local NGOs created for women, so that at least women can stand up and work. Let's work for our children, because it's like the world is changing. For sure, it's like the world is changing. Or maybe some women outlook men, I really don't know. But for I'm thinking, Becky, there should be more opportunities created for women. Let's look after our children. And in particular, let there be opportunities created for women with disabilities. Okay. Because I can tell you, Becky, out of 100%, 99% women with disabilities will look after our own children, starting from the undercloth up to school fees and everything. Thank you.
Okay. We've all interfaced with maybe a security personnel.
Yeah.
What has your experience been like? Otero meeting or sinkana aba security. Ngaba police, ngaba maje, ngaba CMI. How do you feel?
Okutia.
Like, for example, if woba or umsinkanye, what goes on in that what do we call it? Okujira mu mutwego. Oba bwoba wamusinkana yakuyisa atya?
Lemuliwe mbanga musinkanye. Kati ababeera b'amaanyi nfunamu okutya, waliwo ekirumbaganya eggwanga oba waliwo ekijja banga luseera batera kujja ngaabo tugambe ba kiboko squad abawe batibazze nababeerawo obuzibu obubamu mu ggwanga. Kati era nze mukubasinkana nsooka muli omutima sooka kunti emukambamu okutya kubanga okubatuukirira era oluusi okutandika okwogera nabo kiba oba mu kutya babeera batiisa kale
batiisa gavumenti yandikoze ekyokuggyawo abantu nga abakyala okutya abantu abali mu security
ngaabo kubatya kwegamba oluusi kale abamu bakozesa obukambwe bw'amaanyi koza babeerayo nga bali fini mwogere nabo kale simanyi oba kola yandikoze etya naye kife abantu fe abalina okukyejjamu ekyo nga ffe abantu n'omanya nti bali bantu banno n'obeera nga teweeteekamu kutya okwo obasembeere oyogere oba ekikuluma ku mutima nga mubeere nga mwenna mukwatagana kubeera nga tobatya naye kati gavumenti ngayo naye teyina weyinza kujja mu mutima gwe egambye nti ono muntu munno wabula ffe gw'omuntu gwalina okukyejjamu
nawagambye nti obukambwe bw'amaanyi nabo bandikendezezza ku bukambwe so that abantu babaagale. Sylvia, have you interfaced with any person in security? Police, UPDF, interfacing. How did you feel?
Police officers at first, they look kind when they see you. So when they look kind, never they start, what is okugeya in English? I want Mama to understand him. Hey, they start backbiting you. Now you wonder, and for us, like for example, I'll use this Becky. God makes us blind, but we can hear. So as long as you go behind and start backbiting me, katimurale aba food day, it dies out, and I say, now the person I came to tell my problem is now behind me backbiting me. Bane police mlekeda.
Police, Uganda police forces stop backbiting persons with disabilities.
With disabilities. You go with the, when you're pregnant, that, and then now they're like feeling, yet you also need a child. Instead of helping you, now they start backbiting you and they think you're not hearing, yet you're hearing. So, I mean, Uganda police, we beg. Just do something. I mean, when I come with take me, yes, first of all, don't look at me as a person with a disability, but just treat me as if I brought a case. Sometimes you even go to greet somebody and they'll like, feel pity, Bambi, kwata yorukumi, bana. Sometimes there is when it becomes too much. There's when it becomes too much. Yes, I am not refusing people to become pitier. Like, for example, we usually talk about this Becky that today, Becky, you will give me 1,000. Tomorrow, I will come for another 1,000. But if you give me a job to sweep your office, you will pay me for the job done. Don't feel pity for us. Because, Becky, even if you give me 5 million today, after a week, I'll tell you, Becky, the 5 million is done. So I beg the government, the police, and everybody who is watching this, I mean, let us be given opportunities instead of being given petty cash or I don't know how I can term it or how I can call it, but let's be given opportunities. When you give me a job, maybe in the Prime Minister's office or the President's office, I will not start going on the road crying. This time round, I found even I found somebody I said, Jesus Christ, is Uganda reaching on this? There is really a need of disabled persons to be employed in these big offices so that we can stop all this nonsense that is happening on the roads and everywhere in the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Uganda police forces, please
stop backbiting.
Stop backbiting persons with disability. They are hearing you, and you know we are part of the CEDAW committee.
Yes,
and we are part of the Beijing platform, and we also have to ensure the implementation of the SDG 5. Yes. So while you're backbiting them, you're not ensuring implementation of the SDG 5.
Yes.
So,
I'd like to say something about Ugandan police. At the time I interacted with them, I was looking for a death certificate for my late dad. And when I went to, because he passed away from Lago, when I went to the mortuary, they told me to go to the police and get a letter. a letter because he had gotten an accident, so they needed me to get a letter from the police. So I went to police of Mulago in there. So I spoke to them. At first, most of them ignored me. Then luckily, one police officer came. Then I told him I need a letter that I'm supposed to take to where do we get IDs? That certificate? Nearer. Yes. So he told me, okay, come to my office. I went to his office. So he asked me what happened to your father and all. I told him the whole story. And then I told him I need a letter. Since he passed from here, the letter must be here. Then he told me, these records, I don't know. We might not be able to help you today. So I told him, no, you have to help me today. So he tried to intimidate me. And then I told him, I'm a Ugandan and I am a law-abiding citizen of this country. And since you're the police, you're supposed to help me. I need just a letter. And he told me, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, we'll be able to help you. So I told him, why do I have to come back tomorrow? And he said, we cannot access that document now. So I told him, where is it? Then he said, it's in that office, but the one in charge is not around. She has gone for lunch. So I told him, it's okay. Give me the files. So he gave me the files and I looked for that letter. There were 6 big files, dusty, which means nobody's using them. I'm also wondering, don't we have technology now? Why are they still using these files, really? I should be able to sit on a computer, click in a name and get all those details. No, I had to look through all those files till when I got it. So I called that police officer and I told him, number one, you don't know who I am. I could be, I could be an inspector of government. This is very incompetent. I have done your work for you and you still want me to give you your money. Money. I'm not going to give you because I've done this work for you. And I may be a minor person, but one day the president will know about this. I don't know when or how. The president will know about this and how you guys are very incompetent. You're making it very hard for us and you're making us feel insecure. Imagine if I was someone who is easily intimidated. Up to now, I would still be looking for that letter. Imagine just a letter. And you're going through also an emotional thing. You've lost somebody. And I'm wondering, is it a crime? You're supposed to defend us. Yeah, so Ugandan police, I don't know. I don't know, are you being paid less? I don't know. Because again, when you look at their offices, again, yes. Sometimes I'm like, you find like a thing, like a store, which is an office where the police are supposed to do their work from. So, Mr. President, I don't know if the police are speaking up for themselves, but me, I'm thinking maybe because they could be incompetent. I don't know if they are not being paid enough. I don't know if they are not being given good facilities, but maybe that is something to look into so that they defend us as the citizens of this country.
Thank you,
Becky.
One of the things that we have not talked about are women in prison. So when women are arrested, you know that there are no pads at the police station. What? There are no pads at the police station. If we are to look at women in refugee communities, how are they accessing pads?
I know.
We look at from the moment she's arrested from police, the moment she's taken to court, from court to maybe Ruzira or the prison that is there. How do they access? You know, the problem with women is when stress comes, then you get periods. You don't know where they're coming from. So I believe that government should put pads at police stations. Indeed, the president should give a decree or an order for the UPDF to produce, because I've seen they are producing condoms. Let them produce pads as well. Yes. When they get these pads and produce them, because you're producing condoms, why are you producing pads? Get them and put them in police stations, take them to prisons, and
To
even at
schools.
courts, because we are talking about the National Action Plan, and somebody that was part of formulation of this, it gives me a holy anger that we see that our men in uniform, they are producing for themselves,
Yes.
and they are not producing
Something
for
that
us.
benefits them. Yes.
So the president should issue a decree that UPDF produces pads. And it also could help with the First Lady's thing of, distributing pads across schools.
Across schools.
Yes, because she promised that she would give children that are going to school pads, but now she has not yet delivered. So if the UPDF is able to produce, they can give her or give it to Ministry of Education, and they start dropping them in schools. They have increased the tax on pads and,
Exactly.
So UPDF, the president, talk to UPDF to produce pads and give them to Ministry of Education to be able to distribute them to schools and the First Lady. Then also have them at the police station. We have them at prisons. We also have them at court, but also for refugee communities. Because I know one of the things that the president talks about is how his family was at some point refugees. So why aren't we doing this also for the refugee community? That's the OPM's office. So that's something we can adopt. But then I will come to you, Sylvia, as we are talking about women in prison. I don't know if you've heard about women that are incarcerated. How best can we ensure that women that are accessing justice are taken care of?
First of all, when you talked about refugee women, I have always asked myself that question. Being a woman, being disabled, and then you're a refugee, I've usually wondered what those people pass through. I've usually wondered what those people pass through. It is a lot. So I think for women to access justice, let's even talk about women with disabilities in particular. Very many of them have not accessed justice. We actually even stop at the grassroots level. Kubanga, sometimes we are very poor. We don't have money to take us up to those courts. They will start from the police and then they will ask now, pay for this, pay for that, pay for that. You're really poor, you don't have any money, and then you're not accessing justice. For example, I'll give my own example, Becky. There is a time when I gave some guy some money to make for me bricks, and the guy ate the money because he knew, of course, I was blind. I wouldn't see him. But then when I reported to the police, they asked for this, I gave. They asked for this. Then the next time when we were going up and said, so, I mean, so as a person with a disability, is it that, moreover, not even a person, but as a woman, as a woman with disability, am I not supposed to access justice? Really? Because even as we are being cheated as the so-called normal people, what you people call normal people, we are cheated, we are raped, we are done everything dirty in our own country because there is something to say that we were born citizens of this country and it's not going to stop. We are going to be citizens of this country until, even if we die, they will bury us here. Yes. So I think we should, our justice should be taken care of. Some of the people with disabilities even cannot walk up to court. Some of the people with disabilities, Bambi, they do not have wheelchairs. That will even another thing. Some courts, some prisons or some police areas, they have a lot of ladders where you cannot climb. A person with a disability or a person in a wheelchair will not be able to climb those ladders. So that only will stop him or her from accessing justice in the first place. So I would beg the president or wherever, I don't know whether he's going to see this video, but I beg. But just in case, even the police, there should be proper building so that we can access the services in the buildings up there. Let there be the mobility. We call it mobility and accessibility. Let there be accessibility so that people with disabilities, we can very well access the courts of law. People with disabilities, we can go to the police and we are attended to. Let sign language interpreters be put on the at least at least let's try and put at least each sub-county. If there is a police station, at least put one sign language interpreter. For example, me, Beck, there is the way we write. I have never found anywhere, even when you go to say that maybe this ministry has people with disabilities, you go for a meeting, they will bring a book and they will hand to you a book. They know they have called somebody who is blind and they say, oh, we are sorry, we didn't print this in Braille and so on. So sometimes, even when you're at the police, they are reading for you something you're not seeing.
Yes.
Even
So
somebody may read something wrong.
Yes, definitely.
You cannot see. Somebody may read something wrong. So I beg that at least, I know all cannot be done in one day, but let's try one by one. That if there is somebody who has come out and talked, I know he or she, I mean, she is talking for the many. So for these many, let's at least try and do one thing. If we go to maybe CPS in Kampala, can we find Braille there? Okay, if it's not in Masulita, my village, or if it's not in Mbarara, my home village, let at least find it at CPS Mbarara, CPS Kampala, CPS, at least these big police stations where one can access the writing or the reading materials fully. However he or she is disabled, however she's blind, however she has a hearing impairment, and so on. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. And we are coming to a close, and I would like to thank you for joining me today. I know we would have had a lengthy conversation as women, but time is out, and thank you for joining us. And my parting shots are that the guns that are in hands of civilians, can we check the mental health of people that have guns and that are civilians, so that because the stress levels are high, people, the economic stress that is on right now, people don't have money, and it's causing economic stress. So you find that these guns are in hands of civilians, and they're not trained as people in uniform. So the way they control their anger is different from the way people in security.
Even Becky talk about the other one who shoot the former minister Engore. He was trained and so on, but stress or demand.
Yes. So people that are having guns, and my call to the president, that people that have guns, especially the civilians that do have guns, there is a mental health check every month as they are reporting with their guns to see, are you fine to be able to carry a gun? You're a civilian, you have a gun. Secondly, the men that are taken, women have given you, Mr. President, they are men, to go and join the army. You take them when they are very nice human beings, you bring them back when they are beasts. We request you that when people come back from deployment, you first tell them, you know, you're going back to your home. Treat your wife very well. Do not come and be hard on her. The lady Jamila said that talk to your men, especially we've given you our brothers, our sons. When they are good people, you bring them back when they are so tough. And men in uniform, men in security, please remember that the title should not get to your head. In the long run, when you come back home, what matters is how you treat your family. Because when you start getting sick, you're going to come back to these women, and they're the ones going to take care of you. Depending on how you've treated your mother, how you've treated your sister, that's how they're going to take care of you. If you poop on yourself, and they have to take care of you. Lastly, civilians that encroach on women of men in uniform, it's not nice. You do not, these men go out there to do work, and they come back, you're sleeping with their women in their homes. You know, right? If you find that you're taking care of this woman, take her out into your own space. But you're there at night, the man has come back from field, he's in beast mode, he has a gun, you're there hooting at the gate, calling his wife. But also the men in uniform, when a woman has refused you, it's not bad. It happens. Don't take it personally. Stop running your homes like you're running battalions or the barracks. Please understand that you're home. And at home you're meeting civilians. And if she has left you, do not go and look for her like you're looking for a deserter of the army. Please, like, develop very good civilian army military relationships, so that we can all live happily together and understand that women are the core of society. Respect
Yes.
the women. If you're in
Yeah,
a
that's
bar,
it,
conceal
like,
your gun. It is not good for us to be seeing your guns and saying, hey, I am a spy. No one wants to know what you
I
do.
know.
Just drink your beer and go home. Till next time, I'm Rebecca Juna.
Jones.
Bye-bye.